Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A preliminary election where delegates or nominees are chosen. Of or being the essential or basic part. One of the main flight feathers projecting along the outer edge of a bird's wing. Coil forming the part of an electrical circuit such that changing current in it induces a current in a neighboring circuit. Current through the primary coil induces current in the secondary coil. Most important element. Policemen were primary targets. Astronomy, a celestial body, especially a star, relative to other objects in orbit around it. Not derived from or reducible to something else, basic. A primary instinct. Of first rank or importance or value, direct and immediate rather than secondary. Primary goals. A preliminary election where delegates or nominees are chosen. Especially of leaves, located at the base of a plant or stem, especially arising directly from the root or rootstock or a root-like stem. Basal placentation. Serving as or forming a base. Of or being the essential or basic part. A basal reader. Of or being the essential or basic part. Relating to or being an element. Elemental sulfur. Relating to severe atmospheric conditions. A race against hail or cold rains or some other elemental catastrophe. Of or being the essential or basic part. An elementary need for love and nurturing. Easy and not involved or complicated. An elementary problem in statistics. Of or pertaining to or characteristic of elementary school or elementary education. The elementary grades. One of the main flight feathers projecting along the outer edge of a bird's wing. One of the main flight feathers projecting along the outer edge of a bird's wing. Coil forming the part of an electrical circuit such that changing current in it induces a current in a neighboring circuit. Current through the primary coil induces current in the secondary coil. Coil forming the part of an electrical circuit such that changing current in it induces a current in a neighboring circuit. A person who is in charge. The head of a tribe or clan. A person who exercises control over workers. Most important element. The chief aim of living. Of a clause, capable of standing syntactically alone as a complete sentence. The main, or independent, clause in a complex sentence has at least a subject and a verb. Any very large body of salt water. Most important element. The main doors were of solid glass. A principal pipe in a system that distributes water or gas or electricity or that collects sewage. Of force. Of the greatest possible intensity. By main strength. A combatant who is able to defeat rivals. Get on top of. Deal with successfully. An authority qualified to teach apprentices. Key that secures entrance everywhere. Be or become completely proficient or skilled in. She mastered Japanese in less than 2 years. An original creation, i.e., an audio recording, from which copies can be made. Presiding officer of a school. Have dominance or the power to defeat over. Her pain completely mastered her. A person who has general authority over others. An officer who is licensed to command a merchant ship. An artist of consummate skill. A master of the violin. Have a firm understanding or knowledge of, be on top of. Most important element. The master bedroom. Directs the work of others. Someone who holds a master's degree from academic institution. The educator who has executive authority for a school. She sent unruly pupils to see the principal. The major party to a financial transaction at a stock exchange. Buys and sells for his own account. An actor who plays a principal role. Capital is contrasted with the income derived from it. Most important element. The principal rivers of America. Criminal law. Any person involved in a criminal offense, regardless of whether the person profits from such involvement. The original amount of a debt on which interest is calculated. Reduced to the simplest and most significant form possible without loss of generality. A basic storyline. Serving as a base or starting point. A basic course in Russian. Usually in the plural, a necessary commodity for which demand is constant. A popular programming language that is relatively easy to learn. An acronym for beginners' all-purpose symbolic instruction code, no longer in general use. Of or denoting or of the nature of or containing a base. Pertaining to or constituting a base or basis. A basic fact. Of great significance or value. Having authority or ascendancy or influence. An important official. Of great significance or value. Important people. Important in effect or meaning. Of extreme importance, vital to the resolution of a crisis. Having or suggesting a consciousness of high position. Recited the decree with an important air. Not derived, primary or simple. Added to a regular schedule. A special holiday flight. First and most important. His special interest as music. Surpassing what is common or usual or expected. He paid a special attention to her. Unique or specific to a person or thing or category. The special features of a computer. Having a specific function or scope. A special, or specific, role in the mission. Adapted to or reserved for a particular purpose. A special kind of paint. A dish or meal given prominence in e.g. a restaurant. A special offering, usually temporary and at a reduced price, that is featured in advertising. They are having a special on pork chops. A television production that features a particular person or work or topic. The last of a series of BBC specials on Iran is being shown tonight. For a special service or occasion. A special correspondent. The upper part of a column that supports the entablature. The federal government of the United States. One of the large alphabetic characters used as the first letter in writing or printing proper names and sometimes for emphasis. Printers once kept the type for capitals and for small letters in separate cases. Capitals were kept in the upper half of the typecase and so became known as uppercase letters. Assets available for use in the production of further assets. Uppercase. Capital A. A book written by Karl Marx, 1867, describing his economic theories. A center that is associated more than any other with some activity or product. The crime capital of Italy. A seat of government. First rate. A capital fellow. Of primary importance. Our capital concern was to avoid defeat. Wealth in the form of money or property owned by a person or business and human resources of economic value. Something that serves as a model or a basis for making copies. This painting is a copy of the original. An original creation, i.e., an audio recording, from which copies can be made. Being or productive of something fresh and unusual, or being as first made or thought of. A truly original approach. Not derived or copied or translated from something else. The play is original, not an adaptation. A VG information, not secondhand or by way of something intermediary. His work is based on only original, not secondary, sources. Preceding all others in time or being as first made or performed. The original inhabitants of the Americas. Being a regular member of a team. First string players. Of members of a team, not substitutes. From the original source, directly. I heard this story firsthand. Received directly from a source. First-hand information. Plan and direct, a complex undertaking. Take somebody somewhere. Having no intervening persons, agents, conditions. In direct sunlight. Put an address on an envelope. Specifically design a product, event, or activity for a certain public. Lead, as in the performance of a composition. In a straight unbroken line of descent from parent to child. A direct descendant of the king. Cause to go somewhere. He directed all his energies into his dissertation. In precisely the same words used by a writer or speaker. A direct quotation. Without deviation. The path leads directly to the lake. Direct the course, determine the direction of traveling. Intend, something, to move towards a certain goal. Criticism directed at her superior. Point or cause to go, blows, weapons, or objects such as photographic equipment, towards. Be in charge of. Being an immediate result or consequence. A direct result of the accident. Command with authority. He directed the children to do their homework. Direct in spatial dimensions, proceeding without deviation or interruption, straight and short. A direct route. Give directions to, point somebody into a certain direction. I directed them towards the town hall. Guide the actors in plays and films. Lacking compromising or mitigating elements, exact. The direct opposite. Moving from west to east on the celestial sphere, or, for planets, around the sun in the same direction as the Earth. Of a current, flowing in one direction only. Direct current. Similar in nature or effect or relation to another quantity. A term is in direct proportion to another term if it increases, or decreases, as the other increases, or decreases. straightforward in means or manner or behavior or language or action. A direct question. Exacting especially about details. Very particular about how her food was prepared. A small part that can be considered separately from the whole. First and most important. She gets special, or particular, satisfaction from her volunteer work. Logic. A proposition that asserts something about some, but not all, members of a class. Surpassing what is common or usual or expected. A matter of particular and unusual importance. Unique or specific to a person or thing or category. The particular demands of the job. A fact about some part, as opposed to general. He always reasons from the particular to the general. Providing specific details or circumstances. A particular description of the room. Separate and distinct from others of the same group or category. Interested in one particular artist. Anything indispensable. The essentials of the good life. Of the greatest importance. Absolutely necessary, vitally necessary. Essential tools and materials. Defining rights and duties as opposed to giving the rules by which rights and duties are established. Basic and fundamental. The essential feature. Being or relating to or containing the essence of a plant, etc. Essential oil. The fielding position of the player on a baseball team who is stationed at first of the bases in the infield, counting counterclockwise from home plate. Indicating the beginning unit in a series. Serving to set in motion. His first, or maiden, speech in Congress. Serving to begin. The first verse. The time at which something is supposed to begin. Ranking above all others. Was first in her class. Prominently forward. The lowest forward gear ratio in the gearbox of a motor vehicle, used to start a car moving. The first element in a countable series. The first of the month. Before anything else. First we must consider the garter snake. The first or highest in an ordering or series. He wanted to be the first. An honors degree of the highest class. Highest in pitch or chief among parts or voices or instruments or orchestra sections. First soprano. Preceding all others in time or space or degree. The first house on the right. A vote to select the winner of a position or political office. The results of the election will be announced tonight. The act of selecting someone or something, the exercise of deliberate choice. Her election of medicine as a profession. The predestination of some individuals as objects of divine mercy, especially as conceived by Calvinists. The status or fact of being elected. They celebrated his election. Any of the larger wing or tail feathers of a bird. The hollow spine of a feather. Pen made from a bird's feather. Any of the larger wing or tail feathers of a bird. A stiff hollow protective spine on a porcupine or hedgehog. Bind the arms of. Wing of a bird. Any of the larger wing or tail feathers of a bird. A gear with a small number of teeth designed to mesh with a larger wheel or rack. Cut the wings off of birds. Any of the larger wing or tail feathers of a bird.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.